we're going to be covering what to expect on your first driving lesson. So what we're going to answer today is what to expect on your first driving lesson. So you're excited, you book your driving lesson, whether it be a manual or automatic, slightly different, and a lot will depend on your experience and what you're going to expect on your first lesson. So let's just try one scenario first. You've never driven before, you're going to be driving a manual car, petrol or diesel, doesn't matter, and your instructor's going to pick you up. I'll just let this robot cross. Everywhere where I live at the moment now, I've got to be careful. So what to expect then? Well, the first thing they're going to do is obviously pick you up from your house. They'll ask you some questions about your driving, have you ever driven before, and so on. Now, you tell them, never driven before, this is my first lesson, I'm a bit nervous. They're kind of expecting that, to be nervous. What you can be doing at this point is expecting to be driven away from your house, because they're not going to put you in the driver's seat outside your house when your mum's at the window twitching the curtains or your dad dead proud of your first lesson at the gate. That's too much pressure, and the chances are you're probably going to stall a lot. So they'll drive you somewhere quiet that's suitable for the level that you're at, and on the way they might explain how you hold the steering wheel and a few bits about what's going on with the car. Depends on the instructor, I suppose. But what you can be doing at that point is just listening to the instructor and be open to what they're saying, because they're going to say things like, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing this for this reason. So don't be surprised, it's quite overwhelming at first, and then when they get you to the area that they want to go to, they're going to pull over on the left hand side road in the UK, and they're going to do your eyesight test. That's the first thing they're going to do. So they're going to expect you to be able to read a reg plate, which is the plate on the back of the car there, the yellow one, from 20.5 meters away. So that's something you can practice if you're worried about distances, or you wear spectacles or glasses. So don't be surprised if they give you that straight away, because if you can't read a reg plate from 20.5 meters away, then technically you're not insured to drive the car, because you're going to be driving illegally. So expect that eyesight test off you straight away. I remember years ago having I'll just tell you a story here, having a lesson with a young woman who'd had 20 odd hours before, and we did an eyesight test straight away, and she couldn't read the reg plate. So we stepped closer, still couldn't read it. Then she puts her hand in her handbag and pulls out glasses and puts them on. Still couldn't read it. And by then I think we were like about 10 meters away, something silly. And I said to the young lady, I said, listen, I said, I can't take you for driving lessons because you can't read reg plate from far away. What did you do previously? Oh, I just drove round the block with my instructor, which was a bit shocking, really. So I said, well, that tree down there, that bush, could be someone stepping out, for all you know, because it looks all blurred to you. So I said, go and get your eyesight tested, and I bet you need some new glasses, which she did, and she did need new glasses. And then she came back to me and we took lessons, and she passed in the end. So yeah, eyesight test is your first one. Then they're going to do the cockpit drill. Now, the cockpit drill is just a name they give for setting the car up. It's nothing too tricky. It's getting your seat right so you can reach the pedals, so you have to move the seat forward, get the backrest right, get the head restraint correctly adjusted for you to protect you in the event of a crash, get your seat belt on, you can adjust it also if it's cutting into your neck. These are the things. Get your 3 mirrors, your centre mirror and your 2 side mirrors set up, and they'll explain how to do them. And make sure you're comfy in the car, because you might have to raise your seat up at the same time. So that's what the cockpit drill is. And what they'll do is they'll explain each section to you and make sure you understand it. if you don't understand it, they'll go through it with you. And then once your cockpit drill's set up, they'll be looking at starting the car and practicing setting the gas and practicing finding your biting point with the clutch. And then these are the pedals to help you move off. I won't go into too many details. Gas makes you accelerate a bit further, clutch makes you move off. Anyway, going back to what I say is, once you kind of practice that and you've got a good understanding, you're not going to get it all in that lesson. So this is what you've got to remember. It's going to take a little bit of time for you to get to the point where you get quite good. So it's going to take a few hours at least to kind of understand it. So it'll be overwhelming at first, but that's what the instructor's there for, to help you, to give you advice, to tell you what you need to do and tell you when you're doing it right, tell you what you need to do to improve it. So once you kind of got a little understanding of how to control the pedals and what the gears are for, then they're going to work on moving off then. So you'll be selecting first gear, doing your observations, doing that 5-point check, which is, if you're not sure, is checking your left blind spot, your left mirror, your centre mirror, your right mirror and your right blind spot. So they call it a 5-point check. And all you do is checking round the car to make sure no one's about to go past you, no one's approaching you to overtake you, no one's about to step out from the path, no one's about to step out from the right hand side, maybe a driveway or a junction. So that's what the 5-point check is for, in the observations. And then it's moving off safely, getting yourself in position so you're in the middle of your lane, and then stopping. So it's pulling over, checking your mirrors and signalling, and stopping at the safe spot. So that'll probably cover most of the lesson, and maybe even part of the next lesson. It all depends on the progress of the person, and that's providing that you've never driven before. If you come to your first lesson with another instructor, then they're going to be asking you at the beginning, what have you done, all this sort of stuff. So they'll still give you an eyesight test, because it might be that, like say that incident that I told you, that person never been tested. They might have forgot. So if you've been driving before and you've had 10-20 hours, then it might be the instructor will still drive you somewhere a little bit quieter and just get you driving and just see what you like at that point, rather than take you onto a main road and then find out actually them 10 hours is not as good as that they was thinking. And so they need to assess your driving at that point. So they'll get you driving around a quiet area, and then they'll make progress from there. If you're doing an automatic for the first time, then obviously you haven't got the gears to worry about. It'll be same sort of thing, cockpit drill, doing your observations and moving off and stopping with the gas and brake. So I'm hoping this helps you to understand what's going to happen on your first lesson. One other thing that they'll also say to you is, towards the end of the lesson, they're going to drive you back to your house if you've never driven before. They're not going to expect you to drive back, because that's one of the things people worry about is, oh God, I'm gonna have to drive back to my house, outside my house, and my dad's gonna be watching me or my mum's gonna be watching me. They're not gonna try and embarrass you. They're there to help you. And the other thing is, they'll probably give you terms and conditions, probably give you the price list. They'll probably set the time and date for the next lesson, which is probably going to be a similar time as what you had that day, because it's usually what they do is they'll stick to the same time each week for you. They'll have a time slot. And I suppose once you sit down and it's over with, just look forward to your next lesson at that point. So good luck on the first lesson.